The Google Pixel 6 is the more affordable version of Google's flagship phone this year, and at first glance it seems like the better deal compared to the Pro because their specs are so similar. But after spending a month using the Pixel 6 Pro and now the Pixel 6, there's actually more of a difference between these two devices than I had originally thought. So I'm going to walk you through what those differences are, what makes the Pixel 6 a great phone to get, and when I think it's worth it to get the Pixel 6 over the 6 Pro or the 5A. So what are you missing out on by choosing the 6? As someone who just spent a month using the 6 Pro and now another month using the 6, one thing that surprised me about the 6 was it's not significantly smaller or lighter than the 6 Pro. The Pro has a 6.7-inch display and the 6 has a 6.4 and weighs 207 grams, while the Pro weighs 210 grams. So they're very close in size. One weird thing though that I've noticed while using both phones is the 6 actually feels a bit more heavy or weighty than the Pro. Even though we both know that isn't actually true. So why does it feel that way to me? Well, there are a couple of things going on here. The first is because the 6 Pro is slightly larger than the 6, I think that causes you to spread your fingers out a little bit more to be able to grip this phone. And that, plus polished metal sides of the Pro, make it more grippy to hold compared to the Pixel 6's brushed aluminum sides, which slip more easily and cause me to grip this phone in a different way so it doesn't slide out of my hand. Now, other than build materials, size, and the weight field difference, the 6 and the 6 Pro are pretty similar in their exterior design, with the only other main difference being that the Pro has an additional camera in the camera bar on the back, a 4x telephoto camera, and it comes in more muted colors than the Pixel 6, and it has a 5mm wave cutout included, where not all versions of the 6 do, which gives the 6 a more uniform look with its design. Now, the last major difference I've found between using the 6 Pro and the 6 are these phones' displays, and there's more to talk about here than you might realize. By going with the 6, you lose out on a curved display, which isn't likely a huge loss to anyone, but you do lose out on a 120Hz LTPO display, which can ramp down to 10Hz to save battery. Most people aren't going to notice a difference between 90 Hz or 120. Now, if you're asking, yes, I can see the difference between 90 Hz and the 120, and given the choice, I'm going to choose 120 every single time. But that's not actually the biggest difference between these two phones' displays. The biggest difference is actually in display quality, which you wouldn't necessarily know by just looking at the tech specs of both of these phones. Just because both say OLED display on the spec sheet doesn't mean their displays are actually equivalent. In order to get the 6 to the great price of $599, Google cut costs with the display they chose, and unfortunately, the 6's display is just nowhere near as good as the 6 Pro's. The Pixel 6's display suffers from color shift refractions when you just slightly move the phone to a different angle, and you'll see the display alternate between a green and purple tint, which is typical of lower quality OLED displays and those we've seen in the Pixel A series line of phones, but not in the recent flagship Pixels like the Pixel 5 and Pixel 4 XL. So if you're coming from a Pixel 5 or 4 XL, iPhone, or flagship Samsung device and are thinking about getting a 6 over the 6 Pro, I'd think twice about it and I'd steer you towards getting the Pixel 6 Pro, especially if you're a stickler for display quality. You can get around some of the display issues on the 6 by just using dark mode all the time, but it's just not a great display. So that's everything I found between the 6 and the 6 Pro and those differences. Now, in general, what do I like about the Pixel 6? Well, first is the software experience. By going with the Pixel 6, you get an incredible software experience straight from Google, so you can experience Android the way Google meant it to be experienced, and for the first time this year, the Pixels have Google-designed chips, pairing hardware and software together to create a truly unique experience with features you can't get on any other phone, like the awesome new speech dictation, which is the fastest and most accurate speech dictation I've experienced on a phone. It's so good, I've actually used it for this video's caption. So if you turn on closed captions here on YouTube, the captions you see have actually been generated by the Recorder app on the Pixel 6 using the new speech dictation feature with minimal capitalization and punctuation edits. The Pixel 6 also brings updated and expanded translation capabilities as well, and it's even able to translate text conversations in real time, as well as signs in up to 55 languages without an internet connection. It's all processed on device thanks to Google's Tensor chip. With Tensor, you also get much better video processing than the previous generation of Pixels, which makes the Pixel's video capabilities much more in line with iPhone and Samsung video quality. Now, for a full breakdown of this year's Pixel 6 and 6 Pro camera system, you can actually see the full in-depth review we did of this camera system, which is in our Pixel 6 Pro review, and you can get to that review by pausing this video and clicking the card here, or check out the link in the video description below. Just keep in mind that with the 6 you don't get a telephoto camera, and the selfie camera has a slightly smaller resolution. The selfies I've gotten on the Pixel 6 look pretty good, but they do lack a bit of detail when you compare them to the selfies you get on the 6 Pro. Tensor also enables a brand new feature that's been a ton of fun to play with, but also one that's quite useful, and that's Magic Eraser. This feature is a smart touch-up feature that allows you to erase objects and people from your photos, all using the on-device Tensor processor. So, for example, here's a selfie I took over the weekend. You'll notice that there's some hair fly and power lines in the shot that we can clean up. To get to Magic Eraser, I'll go to Edit, Tools, and then Magic Eraser. When you first enable Magic Eraser, it'll look at your image and try to determine things that need to be taken out. So for here, it's identified part of the power lines. You can click Erase All, and then all the suggested edits will be erased. Then I can go in by pinching to zoom and start either circling or brushing in areas I want to take out, and it's smart enough to figure out what part of the background to bring in as a replacement for the object that I'm trying to remove. This feature, in my experience, actually works pretty well as long as the image or background you're working with isn't too complex, and the best part is it works not just with the photos that you take on your Pixel 6, but any photo in your Google Photos library. Now, before we move on, let's talk about this video's sponsor, Private Internet Access. With over 30 million downloads, Private Internet Access is the world's most transparent VPN provider. They never record or store user data, and their no-logs policy has been proven multiple times in court. Their VPN works by changing your IP address and reroutes your internet traffic through an encrypted tunnel, hiding your online activity from internet service providers, network administrators, and government censors. Private Internet Access is the most customizable VPN on the market and works with all of the major streaming services, so you can get unrestricted access to all of your favorite content no matter where in the world you are. And it's one of the very few VPNs that supports peer-to-peer file transfers and torrenting. Private Internet Access's VPN is also 100% open source, meaning their code is public, so anybody can take a look under the hood and see what's really going on with their service and how secure it really is, giving you the peace of mind that your data is secure and stays private. Sign up today for a 3-year subscription of Private Internet Access's VPN and get an extra 4 months free for only $1.98 a month. That's 83% off. It also comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee and 24/7 customer support. Use the code in the description below and start saving today. Alright, now back to the Pixel 6. With this Pixel, you of course get all of the great past Pixel features as well, like call screen, hold for me, a new call visualization screen, and great usability features like Smart Lock, the new Android 12 themes and icon customizations, side-loading apps from the web like Fortnite, and important and useful safety features like car crash detection, the personal safety app which you can set to automatically text loved ones with your location if you don't check in after a walk. And this year, Google made a huge update to the security area of the Pixel, now called the Security Hub, which displays all of your security settings in one place. Google made this design very easy to use. If everything's good, it'll show you all green check marks, but if something needs your attention either on your phone or with an account associated with your Google account, it'll show you that as well. In terms of performance and battery life, I found the Tensor chip in the Pixel 6 to be a very capable processor. I can capture 4K 60 video for long periods of time without overheating, and it plays video games smoothly. The battery life on the 6 has also been fine for me. It's lasted me well throughout the day, and do keep in mind though, I am an average to light phone user, and I haven't traveled with this phone yet, which is usually when I put the most stress on a phone's battery. One thing I do like with Pixels is that on days I forget to charge it, you can flip on the extreme battery saver to get way more juice out of your phone, and it also has fast USB-C charging as well as fast wireless charging. So those are all of the things that I like about the Pixel 6 and how it's compared to using the Pixel 6 Pro. Now let's talk downsides and recommendations, and the only downside I found with the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro for that matter is Wi-Fi setup. I should have mentioned this in my Pixel 6 Pro review, but I thought this was just some isolated bug with my particular router setup. But then when I had it happen on a Pixel 6 and another 6 Pro, and I saw others on Reddit running into this issue as well, I realized there's something more going on here. Basically what happened to me during setup is when I would try to connect to a Wi-Fi network, it would just fail to connect, even though I typed in the correct Wi-Fi password. I was able to get around this bug by skipping the Wi-Fi setup step when you first set up the phone. Then I was able to either use the QR code scan feature from another Android device to join the network successfully, or I turn off the randomized MAC address setting for the specific Wi-Fi network I was trying to join, and then I was able to join the network successfully. Hopefully Google's December Pixel Drop update will address this bug. So now let's talk recommendations and when I think it's smart to go for the 6 over the 6 Pro or the 5A. The Pixel 5A is Google's budget-friendly phone for 2021, and by going for the Pixel 6 over the 5A, you'll get the all-new Pixel 6 design with a better build quality and Gorilla Glass Victus, wireless charging, battery share, the new improved camera system including the new sensor, lenses, magic eraser, laser autofocus system, new motion modes, face unblur, and manual white balance. You also get a 90Hz display, though both the 5A and 6 have that green-purple shift I talked about earlier. The Pixel 6 also gets you a high brightness mode, 256 gig storage option, and of course the new Tensor chip. The only main benefit that you might find with the 5A is its back fingerprint sensor for those who don't want the under-display fingerprint sensor that the 6 has. But after using the 6 for a month and after an update Google made to the fingerprint sensor software, it's worked much better for me and has been much more reliable. And on the Pixel 6, you can use the back tap feature to bring down the notification shade in a similar way to how it works on the 5A. So that's what you get with the Pixel 6 over the Pixel 5A, and given that the cost difference between these two devices is $150 US, I think getting the Pixel 6 is well worth it. Now, what about the Pixel 6 Pro, you may ask? At first glance, when you consider there's a $300 price difference between the 6 and the 6 Pro, it doesn't seem like you get that much more, but to me, you actually get quite a bit more. A 120Hz LTPO display with a much better quality than the 6's display, more storage tier options, 12 gigs of RAM, a slightly larger size display with more premium materials that are more grippy without a case, a telephoto camera that's quality is actually quite good, and a better additional camera than the ultra-wide in my opinion, a better selfie camera, and stronger haptics with the software keyboard. Both the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro to me have great haptics, but because Google placed the Taptic engine closer to the keyboard in the Pixel 6, the haptics feel stronger. To me, having much better screen quality, the 120Hz display, and that fantastic telephoto camera, that warrants the $300 price difference between these two devices and warrants going for the Pro, in my opinion. Then, of course, I am a stickler for screen quality, so that difference you might not be able to justify depending on your tolerance for OLED screens. Now, if you're upgrading from a Pixel 5 or Pixel 4 XL, the display quality you're used to with those phones would make me recommend the 6 Pro over the 6, since you'd likely find the 6's display a bit of a downgrade. The Pixel 6 retails for the great price of $599 US, and you can use the purchase links on the side of this video or in the description below to learn more. If you'd like to learn more about the Pixel 6 Pro or the Pixel 5A, you can get to the reviews that we've done of both of those phones by clicking the cards here in this video or by checking out the links to those reviews in the description below. If you have any further questions about the Pixel 6, 6 Pro, or 5A, or want to share your experience with these Pixel phones, leave a comment below. Well, I hope you found this video helpful and useful, and if you did and liked it, make sure you hit that thumbs up button below and subscribe to the channel for more Google product review videos like this one. For 6 months later, I'm Josh Tedder. Thanks for watching.